Hello and welcome to this beginner intermediate level class on making requests. Today we will be talking about making requests, which means asking people for something. So if you want to ask someone for something, chances are you're hoping they will give it to you. And so in order to get what you want, so because of this, when we ask questions to make requests for things we want, we need to change our grammar and change our verb tenses in order to be a little bit more polite. So this is a very important elementary skill in learning English, which is why I think I put it as intermediate on the website, but it's a beginner intermediate class. And we will be talking about very basic grammar and sentence structure for making requests, asking for things. Making requests is a very important skill, particularly for people learning English as a foreign language, because when you're off another language, you often need to ask people for things because you're often in a place that you don't understand, a new place, or you're often trying to do something new. If you're traveling to a new country or living in an English-speaking country. So learning how to make requests will help you prepare for when you spend time in English-speaking places, because you will probably have to ask a lot of people for a lot of things. So soon this class will open for anyone to join it, and if you have not checked this out yet and you're interested in joining classes earlier than everybody else, please click the Get Reservations tab at the top of your Verbling page, and you can find more ways to get reservations through Verbling Premium and some other methods. I highly recommend getting reservations to make sure that you get into the classes you would like to get into. It's the best way to get the best Verbling experience, so definitely look at that tab if you get time. The class should now be open for everyone to join if they would like to. When you see that Join Class button, feel free to join us today, and we'll be working on grammar for making requests in English. Let's see, what else can I say about this? I guess I'll talk about while we're waiting for students to join, I'll talk about some examples of when this class material might be useful. So if you're visiting an English-speaking country and you need to ask for directions to maybe to the train station, you can't just say to someone, train station, please, now. You can say that and they'll probably know what you're asking them, but it's much better if you can formulate a grammatically correct question to ask them politely. Excuse me, do you know where the train station is? Could you help me find it, please? Obviously, that's a much better way to ask, and so we'll be talking also about a variety of ways to ask, because it's good to have a little toolbox so you know several different ways to ask people for things you want. And also we'll be talking about which ones are more informal that you might use with your friends and family, and which ones are more polite that you might use with strangers or people that you're asking on the street or people that you're talking to in a restaurant. So you need to change your grammar and sentence structure depending on who you're talking to, just like in pretty much any language. So we'll get started with introductions. I have several new faces in this class, so welcome to the students I have not had before. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Libby. I'm American, but I live in France now. I'm a Verbling teacher, and I also teach English to French high school students as a second language. And I would like to briefly meet all of you before we get into today's grammar topic. So for your introductions to the class, I would like you to tell us your name, your country, and let's see, something about English maybe English grammar or English in general, something about English that you find challenging, something about English that you're trying to work on at the moment. And so I'm Libby. I'm in France, and for me, because I'm learning French, what I find difficult when I'm learning another language um, is really finding complex ways to express myself. Sometimes I know how to say, that's really beautiful, but I don't know how to say, I love the way the sun is shining off the water. And I think adjectives and things like that. Sometimes I find it hard to really express what I really mean in another language because I don't have the vocabulary. So that's something I find challenging. And now I would like to hear from all of you. So we'll start with, let's see, Batiar, are you here?
Hi, teacher.
Hi. Could you tell us your name, your country, and something in English learning that you find difficult or challenging?
My country. I am from Turkmenistan. Uh, I am 20 years old. I am a student and working. I am live in Cyprus. So I am English little.
No, that's okay. You're doing great
So,
so far. It's awesome.
okay. Ah, so
Great. No, that's perfect. Thank you.
yeah, you're
And
welcome.
Hi, Libby. How are you?
good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. My name is Carlos. I'm from Colombia, and the hardest part for me of English is when I talking. Sometimes I forget the proper words, and I forget the grammar, and this is the most difficult thing for me.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And next we'll move on to Diego. Hi, Diego.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, then my name is Diego. I am from Madrid in Spain. I think this is my second class in Berlin. So hello, everyone. And well, for me, one of the most challenging things in English, I would like to be able to watch a TV movie without using subtitles in English. So for me, what is challenging is letting my ear split the words that if I read, I do know. But for my ear, it's hard to split them and know them.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely know what you mean because in movies people speak so quickly and sometimes they use so much slang. I have the same problem when I learn French is that yeah, I usually watch it in French with French subtitles still, even though I understand French people just fine, but in movies it can be harder.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay, great, thanks. Next we have, is it Hanena? Hanena?
Yes, Hanan. Hello. Hello, everybody, and hello, Libby. How are you? I'm
Good,
from
thank you.
Algeria. I'm 23 years old, architect. Recently finished my studies and work in an office. My problem in English, I think, my accent, because I have, in fact, I used talking French and Arabic, and English. It's easy to read, but it's fault to talk with people. That's why I want to improve my accent.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well, I think you're doing wonderfully, in my opinion. All right, thank you. Next we have, is it Haider? Haider?
Yes, hi, my name is Haidar.
Haider.
I am Arabic. I would like to appreciate this class, and my most problem with the conversation. I am working in a call center, so we received many English calls, but I have difficult to deal with it. This is my major problem.
Okay, great. Thank you. Um, all right, my computer is actually frozen, so I can't read the next person's name. Um, but let's see. Could could someone who's next after Haida in the list?
Smile.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Ismail. Sorry. My computer. I can't see anyone, but it should be better in a minute. But I can hear you, so go ahead. Um, yeah. So could you tell us? Could you introduce with your name, country, and something you find challenging about English?
Hello, hello.
Ismail, are you here?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My name is Ismail. I am from Turkey. I am 20 years old and I am university student. I study electronic engineering. I want to improve my English, so I use Verbling site. Yeah,
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
thank you.
And next we have La Caf.
Hello.
Hello, Libby. Where are you?
Are our teachers still there?
I I don't think so.
She far away.
Yes, Libby is back.
Okay, can
Hi.
you guys see me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and we make small
Welcome,
conversation.
Libby.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
welcome
Okay,
back.
Yes.
awesome. I'm so sorry about that. My computer is old and very upset with me sometimes and decided to shut off. So now I'm back and I should be okay for now. So I apologize for the delay, and we can continue where we left off. I'm just reloading the Verbling Classes app. Give me 1 second. Okay, good. So now we should be ready to continue. All right. So let's
Yes.
see. We left off. We still needed to introduce.
Makeup.
All right. Yeah, sorry, my computer still isn't showing names, but go ahead, Nihan.
Mm, I'm from Turkey. My name is Nihan, and the most difficult thing in English is uh, thinking. At first, thinking in English is impossible for me. I always think in my own mother tongue, and then try to translate to English, and it's a very difficult way.
Yes, yes, that's true. I know what you mean. It's better to be able to think originally in English, but it takes a long time to get
Mm.
there instead of translating. Yeah, I definitely understand. Okay, thank you. And
You're
last we
welcome.
have Yasin. Are you here, Yasin? All right. I noticed that you've been participating in the Verbling Classes chat, so if your microphone is not working, feel free to do that. Okay, good. Well, thank you. It's nice to meet all of you. Sorry about that brief technical problem, but we should be better now. And we can get started with today's lesson content. So like I said, we're talking about making requests, how to ask people for stuff that you want. So before we get into I have a couple of grammar worksheets we're going to work on. Those worksheets, you can find them on the Verbling class description for this class. The description for this class should have links to download 2 PDFs that we'll be working on today. Before we start with the PDFs, just quickly, I want to ask you, why is it important to be able to make requests in English? So another way of asking this is, can you give me some examples of times when you need to politely ask people for something that you want in an English-speaking place?
For example, in a workplace, you need to be polite, and in those places where you need to be also formal, to use formal language, you want to make a good impression on people you are working for example.
Excellent, good. So in the workplace, you want to make a good impression on your coworkers, so you need to make sure to be polite and say the right stuff. Good. What else?
For example, when you travel, you are in a strange place or a strange situation, so you have to be polite to ask to other people if you need direction to go somewhere, for example.
Great example, too. It can be stressful to be in a new place, so you need to make sure you feel comfortable asking people for directions or asking people for help. Great. Good. Any other examples you can think of?
We can ask, about price of anything that we can buy.
Good. Excellent. So when you're shopping, you need to be
Yes.
polite with people who work in stores and restaurants. So asking about
How
prices.
much?
Yeah. Good. Awesome. All right. Anyone else? Maybe one more example?
About the price?
About of a time that you would need to politely request something from someone in English.
Okay.
In general.
Especially in the business emails.
Good. Emails. So not only in spoken communication, but also in written communication, it's important to know what sort of tone you should use in your emails and how you should ask people for things that you want in the workplace. Okay, good. So we know that making requests is very important. Let's get right into the lesson material then and talk about some of the words and some of the sentence structures that we use to ask people for stuff. So the first PDF we're going to look at is the one that's just called requests. So if you look on the class description, it's called, I think it's called 4 requests. And that is the first document we'll look at. Looks like this. And it gives us some great examples. I really like this document as a resource because it gives some great examples of how to make requests, and it also gives us a chance to practice making requests. So this is the worksheet that we're going to start out by working on together. And is everyone able to find the way to download this? Is everyone able to find that on the Verbling site if you want it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'll also have it on my screen, so if you don't want to download it, don't worry. And we'll make it bigger so we can see it. Okay, awesome. So
Yes, that's better.
hopefully that's good. Okay, awesome. So it's called requests with modals, if clauses, and gerunds. So we'll talk a little bit more about what those grammar terms mean. Below it says there are many ways to ask of formality. We can use can and could for informal requests. The would structures are more formal. So then we have 4 kinds of requests we can make. Number 1 is requests with if clauses and the present tense. 2 is requests with if clauses and the past tense, like would you mind if. If that's answered with no, then the request is granted. Number 3 is requests with gerunds, and number 4 is requests with if clauses and modals. Okay, good. So let's look a little bit more into what we're talking about when we're talking about gerunds and if clauses and modals. Here's a list that I love of questions, requests for things, going from less formal to more formal. So the first one is the least formal way of asking someone for something, and the last one is the most formal way of asking someone for something. Examples and then with each of these 4 types that we just read about. So would anyone like to read out loud for us all of these examples of these requests, the questions, starting with can I borrow?
Yes, me, Haidar.
All right, wonderful. Go ahead.
Can I borrow your pencil? Can I borrow your pencil?
Excellent. And then would you mind continuing and just reading all of the examples of questions?
Yes, sure.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Could you lend me a jacket?
Okay, good. And then I guess we'll take turns reading. So who would like to read the next couple questions?
I
Okay.
can read.
Okay.
Go on, please.
Great, go ahead. Who wanted to read? Was it you, Niham?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it okay if I use your phone? Do you mind if I use your CD burner? Would it be okay if I picked it up on Friday night? Would you mind if I borrow your digital camera? Would you mind letting me use your laptop? I wonder if I could borrow some money. I was wondering if you would mind lending me your car.
Wonderful. Okay. So these requests go from the least formal to the most formal. These are all asking people for favors, actually. So asking people to borrow things, or asking, yeah, mostly asking people to if you can borrow something from them, or if they can lend you something.
Okay.
And so let's look at each question individually and see which one corresponds with which of these categories above, the categories 1 through 4, the different types of requests. So the first request, can I borrow your
I cannot hear you, Libby.
So do I.
so can I borrow your pencil? I'm actually looking at it too, and I guess these are just.
Hi, everybody.
Sorry, what did you say? I'm having trouble hearing. I think I'm having a bad connection with this. Can I borrow your pencil?
Hi, everybody.
I'm actually looking at it too, and I guess
Everybody.
these are just.
Hi, everybody.
Sorry, what did you say? I'm having trouble hearing it.
Best. Hello. Hi, everybody. Reply.
Yeah, I think
Mohammed, could you please mute your microphone? We couldn't hear anything.
What?
Libby, I think we cannot hear you.
Okay. I want to introduce yourself. Could I?
Yeah, Mohammed, you will time to do that. We are trying to say to Libby that we have having problems to hear her. We hear you, but very far on the.
Far.
Yeah, I think this should be the same problem that she was having at the beginning of the class.
Yeah.
Libby is here.
Okay, welcome back,
Okay.
Libby.
Okay, all of you, this room, what is about this room? It's about what?
Okay, I think I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, we
All
we
right.
can
can hear
hear
you.
you.
So I'm so sorry. I don't know what is going on, but I'm back now. So we left off with we're putting these different requests into categories so we can figure out which grammar each one of them is using. So the first one, can I borrow your pencil? Which of those 4 categories above does it fit into?
What?
Which of those 4 categories above does it fit into?
Okay, I have seen. I have seen. What is the question?
We're looking at these different requests, this list of questions,
Okay,
and
bro.
we're figuring
Okay,
out which of the above 4 categories they fit into. So let's just, maybe I'll just tell you guys number 1 so we can get going here. Can I borrow your pencil? What kind of verb is the verb can? What kind of verb is can?
Model
in
verb.
order to understand, I
Good.
think you must just want to speak
Can I
and
borrow your pencil? What kind of verb is the verb? Okay, so yes, can is a modal verb. So it fits into category number 4. It's a request with a modal verb. What about the next one? Could you lend me a jacket?
okay, listen, please.
Okay, so yes, can is a modal verb.
Okay,
So it
I
fits
think
into category number 4. It's a request with a.
So I think we all are having troubles hearing you because of Mohammed is. We hear you in the back of the Mohammed conversation.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry,
okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to
Okay,
fix that.
listen, please. I think
You because of Mohammed is. We hear you in the back of the Mohammed conversation.
okay. Listen, I
Yeah,
want to
sorry.
give.
Okay. I think that should be better. Let me try to get this back on the screen. Okay, can everyone hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
All right, sorry about that. Okay, so could you lend me a jacket? This is also with a modal verb, right? We're using could.
Yeah.
And could is a little bit more polite than can. All right, next one. Is it okay if I use your phone? Which type of request is this?
An informal?
Yeah, type number 1.
Yeah, good. So it's an informal, it's a pretty informal request. Is it okay? And it's type number 1. We're using an if clause, if I use your phone, and we're using the present tense because we're using the verb use. So we can tell it's a little bit informal because we're using if and the present tense. Okay, what about the next one? Do you mind if I use your CD burner?
It's very polite.
Good. It's
We
polite.
use if clause again.
Yes, good. It uses an if clause again. If I use your CD burner.
It's type number 1 again.
Yes, it's type number 1 again. It's an if clause, and it's still the present tense. But we're making it a little bit more formal by saying, do you mind? Instead of, is it okay? All right, next one. Would it be okay if I picked it up on Friday night? Which type is that? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Second type.
Yes, it's the second type. It's number 2. Requests with if clauses and the past tense. So would it be okay if, so if clause here, if I picked it up on Friday night? Would it be okay if I picked it up on Friday night? If the person says yes, it would be okay. Then you say, yes, it's okay if I pick it up on Friday night. What about the next one? Would you mind if I borrowed your digital camera?
Again, number 2.
Good. Again, number 2. And you notice that these 2 requests are different because the first one, if the person says yes, then it means yes, you can have it. The second one, would you mind if, actually the positive answer there is no. If the person says, no, I wouldn't mind if you borrowed my digital camera, that means it's okay, yes, you can borrow my digital camera. So the answer to the first one is yes, and the answer to the second one is no. That's because if you say, do you mind, and the person says no, then it means, no, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. It's okay. So these are similar degrees of politeness, but they ask for different answers. The first one asks for yes, and the second one asks for no. Second one, then there's another one here with would you mind? Would you mind letting me use your laptop? Which category is this
Gerund.
one?
Third.
Good. Good. And what is a gerund? What is a gerund?
ING form.
Yes. A gerund is an ing form of a verb. So would you mind letting me use your laptop? So we're using would, so it's pretty formal, and we're using letting, which is a gerund. All right. Next one. I wonder if I could borrow some money.
The fourth one, if clause and cult models.
Excellent. So it's an if clause. I wonder if, and then it's a modal. What is the modal verb in this request?
Could.
Good. Could. So modal verbs are verbs that modify other verbs. They're auxiliary verbs. So there's an if clause here, and then there's an auxiliary verb could, and what is the main verb in this request? What is the main verb?
Borrow.
Borrow.
Yeah. Good. You're talking about borrowing. You're asking if you can borrow. All right, and the most formal request we have here. I was wondering if you'd mind lending me your car.
They use models. They use gerunds. They use if clause. Very more formal way.
Little bit of everything, yes.
Yeah, I think it's 2, 3, and 4 here. So they're combining an if clause and they have a gerund and they have modal verbs. So yeah, so I was wondering if you'd mind is a very indirect way to ask for something. You'll notice as you look down this list, as the requests become more formal, the sentences become longer. So the more formal you want to be with the request, sometimes the least directly you have to ask. So you have to ask in a very indirect way. Okay, so let's get into some practice. Let's practice some of this together. So underneath this, there are some exercises.
Yeah,
It
Libby,
says, yes.
I have a very fast question.
Oh, please, yes, go ahead.
Is it true that in practical everyday English it is more formal the way I wonder if that would you mind? It's because for me it sounds like more or less with the same formality level, let's say. But it is true that if I wonder if it's more formal.
So for me personally, I would not really use I wonder if. I think it's a little bit too passive. I think I wonder if I could borrow some money is a little bit, it's just not a request that I choose to use. So you're right. I think they're about similar levels of formality.
Okay.
They're about the same. Good question. Good question.
Libby, which one we will prefer to use in a formal way, but not the very formal way? Maybe in a business dialogues. Which one is okay for you?
Sorry, one second. I was muted. Can you hear me now? Okay, yes. So good question. So what's a good sort of one just to use, sort of just in case, if you're not sure what to use? What's a good one to work, or when you want to be polite but you don't want to be too formal?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I would say I would say, would you mind is a really good one to use for every situation. You can say to one of your close friends, would you mind? But you can also say to your boss, would you mind? Or in a job interview, you can say, would you mind? That's a good intermediate level of formal, I think.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah, I would suggest that one. And also, I sometimes say, would it be possible if? Would it be possible, or would it be possible to get would it be possible to get the steak without the sauce, or would it be possible to get the dressing on the side? So asking would it be possible is pretty polite because in case it's not possible, you won't offend anyone. So
Okay.
would it be possible, or would you mind? All right, great questions. Any other questions before we continue?
Nope.
Okay, good. So let's get in some practice. It says make requests using the cues. Which ones need to be more formal? So we need to look at the context and figure out how formal our request should be. So the first one says you want to borrow your classmate's underwater camera for a diving trip. You want to borrow your classmate's underwater camera for a diving trip. So how should you ask? How should you ask? You start your question with, I was wondering. How do you complete that question? You can either tell me out loud or you can write it in the verbally classes.
I think you could say, I was wondering if I could borrow your underwater camera, for example.
Excellent. I was wondering if I could borrow your underwater camera. Another way you could ask is you can follow the format of this last question. I was wondering if you'd mind lending me your underwater camera. So you can ask either way, and they're both equally formal and equally great ways to ask. Okay, good. Number 2, you want to use your roommate's computer. And you start the question with, is it okay? How should you complete your question?
Is it okay? Go ahead.
Me?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Is it okay if I use your roommate's computer?
Yeah, good. Except you're asking the question to your roommate. So if you're speaking to your roommate, how would you ask it? You want to use her computer. So what pronoun would you use?
Can you more explain?
Sure. So the scenario is you want to use your roommate's computer. So when you're asking the question, you're asking your roommate.
Oh, really? I was confused. I understood.
Sorry, you're right. It's a confusing format. But, yeah.
Is it? Is it okay if I use your computer?
Good. Is it okay if I use your computer? You don't have to be that formal because it's your roommate. So you can just say, hey, is it okay if I use your computer? And your roommate might say...
I know that roommate's computer is the same computer of roommate. That's why I was confused just.
Oh, I see. Yes. I see, yeah. So you might say, is it okay if I use your computer? And your roommate would reply, you can use it, but please save my work first. Okay, awesome. Number 3, your neighbor has a car. You need a ride to class. How do you ask your neighbor to give you a ride to class?
Would you mind lending your car tomorrow?
Good.
I don't think so.
That's one way you could ask. You could say, would you mind lending me your car tomorrow? But if you just want a ride, if you just want your neighbor to drive you to class, how could you ask that?
You could say, would you mind giving me a ride to class, for example?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. So would you mind is a great one here because you are asking your neighbor for a favor. Would you mind giving me a ride to class? Notice we have the ing form there, the gerund. Would you mind giving me a ride to class? All right, number 4. You want a friend to help you move on Saturday. So you're asking your friend to help you move your boxes, to help you move your stuff on Saturday. How can you ask your friend?
Is it okay?
You could use is it okay? I would be a little bit more formal here because it's a pretty big favor to ask of someone. So what do you think?
But a friend of me, it shouldn't be formal, I guess.
That's true. I guess there's 2 reasons why you might make something a little bit more formal. One reason is because it's someone you don't know very well, or maybe it's your boss or someone important. But the other reason is if you're asking someone for a big favor, if you're asking someone to do something big for you that might be a little bit hard for them, then you also increase how polite you are because you want to ask very nicely so that they're more likely to give you a favor. And when you ask someone to help you move, that's a pretty big favor because you're asking them to help you carry all of your furniture out of your house and move it to a different house. When we use the verb move just like that, it means move all of your belongings from one place to another. So since it's a big favor, I would be pretty formal when I ask someone, even if it's my friend, I would probably ask them very nicely because I would hope that they will say yes. So how might you ask?
I was wondering, please, Anen, go ahead.
No, go it, but because you let it me before. I let you now.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I was wondering if you mind helping me move on Saturday.
Yes, good. I was wondering. Excellent. Good job with all the grammar there. That was right. So I was mind helping me move on Saturday. Or you can say, I was wondering if you could help me move on Saturday. In that case, we don't use the gerund. But unfortunately, in this case, your friend says, I'm really sorry, I'm busy the whole weekend. So you are out of luck, and your friend will not be helping you move on Saturday. All right, next one, number 5. Yeah, go ahead.
Libby, I have a very fast question again, because
Please?
I don't know if grammatically it would be correct to say to help. I was wondering if you might helping me moving on Saturday, or you have to say helping me move on Saturday.
To move, I think.
Yeah, the correct grammar is helping me move on Saturday. Helping me move on Saturday.
Okay.
Would you mind helping me? You can say, yeah, helping me move on Saturday. It's a little bit peculiar as a structure. Let's see. It's because once you use that gerund, you don't need to use a second gerund for the next verb. So when you say helping me move, move is actually in the infinitive form because it's the second verb, I guess.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, good question, though. All right, number 5 says, you want to borrow your cousin's DVD. How can you ask your cousin?
Can I borrow your DVD?
Yeah, that's a great one. So it's your cousin, it's someone you know pretty well, and you're just asking to borrow a DVD. It's not a big favor. So I would just say, hey, can I borrow your DVD? Or can I borrow your DVD, please?
Yeah,
And in this case, your cousin says, actually, I already lent it to Clark. You're having some bad luck. You have no one to help you move and no DVD. But at least you asked nicely. Okay. Good. This one is number 6. If you would like a second piece of the pie, so you're eating pie,